Now, I've made French crepes before, but I've never made Sri Lankan crepes. These crepes are called hoppers, and instead of using wheat flour, I'm going to be using rice flour. This is going to make these crepes really crispy. And it sounds a little bit strange at this stage, but once they start to cook, these crepes are going to be cooked into a bowl shape for our eggs. Now, I've just added 200 grams of rice flour with a pinch of salt. Mix that in, and you want to mix the salt in because now we add some dried instant yeast, about half a teaspoon, and you don't want that yeast to directly touch that salt, so that's why I mixed it in first. Also some baking powder, and instead of good old classic milk, I'll be using some coconut milk, 270 millilitres, so 1 can of coconut milk into the centre. And then, just like you would do for the standard crepe, slowly bring in the sides so we don't get any lumps. Now, it's very thick, so we need to thin it out. I'll add 100 to 200 millilitres of coconut water. Obviously, Sri Lanka being an island, coconut water and milk is used quite a lot, and it does give this such an interesting, unique flavour. Now, to get the best results, you need this to rest, and ideally overnight in the fridge. So I've prepared one a little earlier, and you can see how much it has risen just from adding that yeast. I've placed a little bit of cling film over the top. We'll take that off. Now, after being in the fridge overnight, it has thickened up, so we'll just stir it and fold it in, and now we'll add another drizzle of our coconut water. The consistency that we're looking for is pouring cream, and that looks just about right. Okay, now traditionally these are cooked in hopper pans. They're traditional Sri Lankan pans, and you can get them from Indian specialty stores. But if you don't have one and you still want to make them, of course you can use a good old classic non-stick pan. This is a small pan because we want to emulate the look of a classic bowl. So small pan with a high rim. Now I'll turn the heat on, and you want this to be on a medium heat, so I'll just lower that. And I'll brush the pan with some coconut oil, again keeping with the coconut theme. Now using a ladle, we'll add some of our mixture. I'm going to start with about 1/4 cup, and then we'll pour it in and keep moving it around the sides of the pan until it completely covers and also goes up the sides. Now, if you've got a few spots, don't worry, just add a little more batter to fill in the gaps. Now we need this to set, and you can see all of these bubbles start to form. It almost looks like a giant crumpet. We want the sides to detach, and we also want it to go crispy before we start to add our eggs. Now I'm going to use 2 Sunny Queen free-range eggs per crepe because they're quite large. If my pan was smaller, I would just add 1. So we'll crack these gorgeous fresh eggs into a bowl, and we'll crack 2, making sure that egg yolk stays intact, but the fresher your eggs are, the more assurance you have that they won't break up. And now, have a look at this. See how it starts to go golden on the sides and crispy? This is the perfect time to add the eggs. So in they go in the centre, just being really gentle. And then we'll just swirl it around just to get a nice thin film of the egg whites, and then gently move those eggs to the centre of our crepe. Now we need these eggs to cook evenly, so we'll grab a lid, pop the lid on, and just allow this to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. We want the egg white to set, but we still want that egg yolk to be runny. All right, these eggs are cooked and it's super crispy along the side. And now give the pan a shake, and this is non-stick, so it comes out super easy. Careful not to break the eggs, and then into a bowl. Oh, just like that. Now you can add any type of topping to this. Some samba olik, some fresh chilies, a little yogurt works nicely. I'm going to serve it the super traditional way, a green chili chutney. See how sticky that is? You can make it yourself or you can buy it, and then just drizzle that over the yolks and this crispy crepe. Oh, yummo. And some curry leaves, and all I've done with these curry leaves is just fried them in some hot oil until they go super, super crunchy. We'll pop them over the top. some fresh lime juice. Squeeze that over. And for some extra coconut flakes that I've toasted, they can go over the top. This is such a unique way to cook eggs. I love the whole idea of cooking the eggs in this crepe cup. It looks fantastic and the textures there are outstanding. Tell you what, Sri Lanka, you sure know how to make crepes. Serving it with these eggs, it's just a match made in heaven. That is absolutely delightful.